our growth is very sustainable. Most franchisees come either through word of mouth, either through social media, through Twitter, through Upflip, through YouTube. Part of that means the initial franchise fee that comes to us, that I could use to fund growth of the franchise arm.
What has been for you? I mean, you were 10, 11 years into running your corporate unit. What was that transition like between the challenges, focuses of going, okay, I'm operating a cleaning business to holy crap, now I'm a franchisor operating and supporting franchisees. Those are two completely different things.
What a great question. I had no idea it would be so different, right? The franchise business is not your normal, you're in the business of supporting other entrepreneurs and businesses. It's closer to a coaching program than it is an actual cleaning business. In fact, the end product almost matters so little for what I'm actually doing. It's just how do you support the franchisees? How do you help them be successful? That's all what it's about. And whether it's cleaning, whether it's painting, it doesn't really matter. The franchise business is very different. I had no clue what I was getting into at all. And in some ways, Tarek, I think that's the best in business where you're like, I didn't even know what I was getting into. I was just doing it, right? Because sometimes the more ignorant you are, the better. I don't know how to describe it, where you have no limiting beliefs in your mind. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to do it. And then later on, someone's like, hey, did you know that'd be really hard? I was like, no, I had no idea that'd be really hard. Like, I only found out when I started doing it, but I was too deep in it. That's kind of how my journey with franchising has been. Where at the beginning, it's like, you realize it's a different business model, that there's so much infrastructure needing to be built. And I'll be honest, at the beginning, I was like, how am I going to build this? This is crazy. I had no idea what I'm getting into. But over time, you kind of figure it out. And we purposely didn't try to onboard 100 units at once. Our growth is very sustainable. Most franchisees come either through word of mouth, either through social media, through Twitter, through Upflip, through YouTube. Part of that means the initial franchise fee that comes to us, that I could use to fund growth of the franchise arm. Now, a lot of franchisors will raise money. They'll go private equity. They'll go in a crazy amount of debt. They'll do a lot of things to actually build the infrastructure, because the franchising, it's an expensive infrastructure. Because we've been focused on social media and personal branding for me, I think we've been able to not have to go that route, right? And then we could grow sustainably. We could invest in those systems. And talk to your question about like a corporate unit and selling it, it's interesting because now I could see why people do that. On my end, most of my day goes towards the franchise side. You could say 90% of my week is on the franchise side and taking care of that. And I still have to manage the corporate unit if something goes wrong. It's not 100% smooth. Things are going to go wrong. That's bound to happen. It can be in some ways kind of a distraction, but in many ways I like it because I know what the franchisees are going through. I feel like some franchisors who just get into franchising, they might lose their way. And like, I kind of want to know what's going on the ground with the franchisees, right? For example, yesterday in our Slack community, we have a Slack community with all the franchisees, and it's always popping off. And someone posted how there's a strategy of going after student housing. And they're like, hey, here's the strategy of what you could do. And I wanted to prove to the franchisees that it's doable. So I said, okay, watch this. I called someone on behalf of my corporate unit, recorded the call, posted it to the group, let them know this is the kind of call and the voicemail you would leave. Then I'd email the person, copy down the email, put it in the Slack community. Then I did a follow-up with a pricing list, copy that, put in the Slack community, just to prove that it's doable, right? And that I was able to get someone who actually asked for the quote and went through that process. Now, if I didn't own a corporate unit, I guess I could do it for another location. But because I own a corporate unit, I'm testing stuff out myself. And that just allows, in my opinion, franchisees to move a lot faster because they see, hey, the owner, Neel, he's in the weeds with us. He's doing the same thing we're doing. He's proven that it can be done. And I think that speaks a lot. I think that that's actually really helpful for testing things out and making it grow. So at least for now, I intend to just hold on to my corporate unit. I think it's a fantastic testing ground. I think it's great cash flow. So I'm enjoying running it as well.
If you enjoyed this short clip from the podcast, you can check out another short clip right here Or if you want to watch the full episode of this podcast, you can watch that here. And remember, knowledge is not power. It's applied knowledge that's power. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.